All right, guys, it's time to learn how to divide fractions, and you've already learned a bit of the trick to it. You just got to turn it into multiplication, right? So we figured out that dividing by one thing is the same as multiplying by its reciprocal. These two things will produce the same result. You can either divide by 4 or you can multiply by 1/4. And either way, that'll be the same, right? So 12 divided by 4 is 3, and 12 times 1/4 is also 3. This is based on the notation of it, right? A fraction is just another way of representing division anyway. So if you multiply by a fraction, it's just basically the same thing as doing like some kind of a division, right? So dividing fractions, this works for other sorts of fractions too. Divide by 5/7, what are you going to do? You're going to change it into times 7/5. You're going to do that reciprocal, and you're going to change it into multiplication. Why? Because multiplication's easier, so let's do multiplication, right? All right, cool. If you have divide by 11/4, what are you going to do? You're going to multiply by 4/11. All right, so we multiply by the reciprocal. It's going to produce the exact same result. Divide by one thing is the same as multiply by the reciprocal. That's the only thing you really need to know here. Then you just got to do all your multiplication stuff, which you already know how to do. You're already professional at it. So let's practice with a simple one. If you had something like 1/3 divided by 4/5, what's going to be your first step? Well, obviously, you're going to change it into multiplication. There we go. Multiply by 5/4 instead. And then from there, we're going to check and see if there's anything that can be reduced or simplified and canceled out, whatever. But there isn't in this case, so we're just going to multiply it out, right? Now, this works no matter how crazy the fractions look. Doesn't make any difference. It's not crazy. It's just simple. So this looks super terrifying. Guess what? It's super easy, and you can definitely do it. First step, we are going to change our division into multiplication. We got to do our reciprocal step, right? So we change divide by 35/48 into multiply by 48/35. We do that reciprocal step. Next, we're going to check and see if there's any canceling to be done. Remember, canceling only happens in the multiplication. You can only cancel if you're multiplying fractions. You cannot cancel when you're dividing. Do not cancel up here. I mean, you couldn't anyways, but don't do it up here. That's not what works. You can only cancel once you have the multiplication. So now we're going to check for canceling. It turns out we do have some canceling. Over here, we can divide both of these by 5. And over here, we can divide both of these by 12. That's fun. So then we're going to figure out what all those would be. 5 divided by 5 is 25. 35 divided by 5 is 7. This one, 48 divided by 12 is going to be 4. And 36 divided by 12 is going to be 3. So now we rewrite. Okay, so we have our 5 times 4, 3 times 7. And at that point, we just multiply, right? We can double check again, make sure that we did everything right. We did the most amount of canceling and simplifying, all that jazz. But at this point, this is as simple as it gets. We're going to multiply that. We get 20/21. So, like I said, it looks totally crazy, but you can 100% do it. The steps are, you change the division into multiplication, get the reciprocal, right? So divide by one thing is the same as multiply by the reciprocal. We're going to do that step. Then we're going to check for canceling and reducing. Sometimes there will be, sometimes there will not be. And then we're going to multiply, and that's our final step. Why? Because multiplication is nice. We like multiplication. It's easier than division, so let's do a lot of it. All right, ready, set, practice, my friends.